Welcome, my name is Jill and I teach German as a foreign language. This presentation focuses on strengthening students' metacognitive skills and literacy practices in the foreign language classroom. My goal is to explore how metacognition, cultural understanding, and strategic reading instruction come together to support deeper comprehension and more independent language learners. We'll begin by looking at why metacognition and literacy matter and how they influence student learning and independence. Next, we'll build a shared understanding of what metacognition is and what it looks like in a foreign language classroom. From there, we'll explore literacy supports and strategy instruction, focusing on practical ways to strengthen comprehension for all learners. We'll then discuss the importance of using authentic texts and how they help build cultural understanding. After that, we'll look at reflection as a reading strategy and how structured reflection boosts comprehension and metacognitive growth. We'll also talk about guiding cultural interpretation. Then we'll examine two instructional tools, reciprocal teaching and think-alouds, and how they both support literacy and metacognitive development. Finally, we'll bring everything together by exploring ways to integrate metacognition and literacy into daily classroom practice. Let's begin with why metacognition and literacy matter so much in foreign language learning. When students become aware of how they think, especially while reading or interpreting meaning, their comprehension deepens and their learning becomes more self-directed. Research by Stanton et al. Supports this, showing that learners who engage metacognitively retain information better and navigate complex texts more confidently. So what does metacognition mean? In simple terms, it's the ability to monitor, plan, and evaluate our own understanding. Abdel Rahman's 2020 work explained that learners who develop this kind of self-awareness are more motivated and perform better overall. I often ask students, how do you know when you truly understand a text? That question alone can shift the way students approach reading. Students begin to gain awareness about their own thought processes and develop personal agency in the task. Instructional support for literacy can make a huge difference, especially when texts feel overwhelming. Research by Van Hagen et al. Demonstrated that vocabulary previews, chunking sections of a text, and guiding questions give learners a structure to access content. When paired with explicit strategy instruction, such as setting goals or using clarifying questions, students begin to build independence as readers. Liao and Li found that this combination leads to better reading comprehension and more intentional use of strategies in decoding texts. It's worth asking students, what tools or strategies help you when you feel a text is challenging? Finding ways to prompt students to think about what they find challenging rather than a blank comment of "this is hard" or "I don't understand" is more productive for the student and teacher. Authentic materials are one of the richest ways to build both metacognitive and cultural awareness in the foreign language classroom. Advertisements, social media, and short videos are full of cultural assumptions and communication norms. As researcher Hamid pointed out in 2021, learners have to monitor their interpretations more closely when working with authentic materials because they're navigating real-world language. Marquez Cruz and Chavez Yuste showed that using authentic literary texts in English as foreign language classrooms helped improve students' writing skills. Their work supports the broader pedagogical view that literature can provide rich cultural context, which teachers can use to encourage reflection on cultural meaning in texts. One of the simplest but most powerful tools we as teachers can use is structured reflection. Before reading, students plan. During reading, they check in with themselves. After reading, they evaluate what worked. Leo and Lee's research showed that this habit helps students solidify effective strategies over time. I find that when students pause to notice what they did when meaning broke down, they gain confidence in the skills and strategies that can help them. This helps them become more intentional readers. Cultural interpretation of texts doesn't emerge automatically when learners read. Research by UCOM et al. Showed that explicit instruction, such as modeling and discussion of reading strategies, supports comprehension. In a language learning classroom, similar teacher-guided prompts might help students go beyond decoding and surface meaning, using strategies to notice values, norms, or implicit assumptions. Asking, how might a native speaker read this differently, could harness the same metacognitive and reflective mechanisms shown to support comprehension. When we combine the supportive instruction practices of reciprocal teaching and think-alouds, we can give learners two complementary tools for reading strategically. Reciprocal teaching provides structure through predicting, questioning, clarifying, and summarizing. Structured guidance helps develop students' metacognitive knowledge of reading strategies. Think-alouds help make the invisible processes of expert reading visible and support learners in developing and refining their own metacognitive processes. Becoming aware of one's own reading strategies and practicing them frequently is a key step in supporting self-regulated learning. Together, these strategies make reading a shared, visible, and dynamic process, moving learners beyond routine comprehension into more strategic, reflective engagement. Metacognition and literacy scaffolding help students become strategic, confident, and culturally aware language learners. This is especially important in the foreign language classroom, where students are making meaning while still developing the language itself. These supports build autonomy and strengthen comprehension, deepen cultural understanding through authentic texts, and boost overall proficiency. When we bring all this together, metacognition, literacy supports, authentic materials, and cultural interpretation, we help students read more independently and confidently. Research from across these studies referenced in this presentation consistently show that this integrated approach not only enhances proficiency, but also builds confidence over time. As we wrap up this presentation, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect. Which metacognitive strategy might you try next? Modeling this reflection in your instruction can help students develop the same habits of thinking and learning. Thank you for your time. A list of references follow.